Most applicants treat observation hours as a box to check. Log the required hours, get the supervisor's signature, move on to the next application requirement. I want to completely reframe what those hours are actually for. Because for the applicants with GPA concerns especially, your observation descriptions are the most powerful non-transcript evidence available to you, and almost nobody is using it that way. For the next few minutes, I want to show you exactly what observation descriptions are and how they demonstrate clinical reasoning, and why they can shift a committee's entire read of your application in ways that a GPA alone cannot. Your transcript tells one story about your academic preparation. Your observation descriptions tell a completely different story. And it is the one committees need the most urgently from applicants whose transcript leave questions unanswered. The question committees are asking when they read your observation descriptions is not, how many hours did you complete? It is, does this applicant understand what they observed? Can they connect the clinical moment to professional knowledge underlying it? Is scientific knowledge becoming clinical understanding, or is it just staying as a prerequisite on a transcript? Your observation descriptions are the place to answer that directly. Here is exactly what the difference looks like between observation descriptions that answer a question and ones that do not. And I'm going to use a real example because the contrast is the most useful thing that I can show you. Two applicants, same observation setting, same hours, both observing an OT working in a school. Applicant 1 writes, I observed an OT working with students with various disabilities in a school setting. She worked on fine motor and communication. It was interesting to see how the students get helped by OT. Applicant 2 writes, I observed an OT in a school setting whose most significant clinical moment had nothing to do with the student directly. She spent 15 minutes collaborating with the classroom teacher about environmental modifications that would support the student's sensory system throughout the day. I actively watched the power of client education and advocacy. The OT's impact extended beyond the therapy session into every hour of the student spent in the classroom. Applicant 1 described what they saw. Applicant 2 demonstrated that they understood what they saw. Applicant 2 showed a committee that they understood occupation as advocacy, client education as a clinical tool, the therapeutic environment as extended way beyond the direct treatment session. That is not only a better observation description, this is an applicant who's ready to think like an OT. And here is the framework for writing every observation description at that level, because once you understand the structure, it becomes repeatable for every setting you observe in. Every strong observation description answers 4 questions. 1. What was the clinical context? Setting, population, clinical focus. 2 sentences maximum. 2. What specific moment captured your attention? Not a summary of the whole session. What was the specific moment that demonstrated something to you about OT practice you never understood before? 3. What did you understand about OT practice or the profession because of that very moment? This is the clinical reasoning demonstration, the connection between what you saw and the professional knowledge underlying it. Number 4, what question did it raise for you? The applicant who leaves an observation with a genuine professional question demonstrates exactly the intellectual curiosity and the clinical orientation that committees are looking for. That 4-part structure produces observation descriptions that demonstrate clinical reasoning rather than just logging in time. And here is how the framework specifically addresses GPA concerns. Because for applicants with transcript weaknesses, this is the highest leverage fix available that does not require taking the course over. For an applicant with a weak science GPA, observation descriptions that connect clinical moments to specific anatomy, neuroanatomy, kinesiology demonstrate that the science knowledge is there and it's working. The applicant who describes watching a post-stroke patient attempt dressing and connects the specific movement limitations to anatomy and understanding of motor control deficits after a stroke, that applicant is showing a committee the science. GPA does not show that. That's showing the committee that you are ready for OT school. For reapplicants, whose previous observation descriptions were thin, this is the most visible and immediately improvable element of the reapplication. New observations, new settings, new clinical moment, written in this framework. The difference between the previous application and the reapplication is visible before the committee reads a single line of the personal statement. Your observation descriptions and your letter writers need to tell the same story. Brief your letter writers specifically. Tell them that you're trying to demonstrate clinical reasoning and specific foundation in science in your application materials. Ask them to speak to specific moments where they observed you making that connection, clinical observation to professional knowledge, where they saw genuine clinical curiosity rather than just logging in time. A letter that says this student asked me to explain neurological basis of what she was observing in the stroke session, and then connected it to the coursework she had completed. That is an amazing letter. That letter changes the application. My group sessions on my website and my school community, OT Student Leveled Up, describe all these strategies in detail and can provide you with direct access to me to help you write your application. Both links are in the description, and I would love to see you there. Bye.